Good Saturday morning and welcome to another edition of the award-winning Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency.
Now, here's your host, Larry Ray.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome to Outdoors with Larry Ray. I know it's been an unusual week in Memphis and a lot of things have been going on, and appreciate you stepping in with us. The storm has passed. We got a great weather coming up. Little dip there on Thursday, and hopefully the game is on today with the Southern Heritage Classic. A lot of you folks, man, in my days at the Commercial Appeal, I always covered that game back in those days. Of course, I love the bands. But anyway, speaking of bands, we've got the man from the band. It is Double Band-Aid, not Double Band-Aid. I don't know what it is. My man Ron Wong's in with us. Good Saturday morning, Ron.
Hey, good Saturday morning, Larry. Good Saturday morning, Shelby.
Yes.
Good morning, everybody. It's it's really a nice day.
Yeah, it is. Yes.
After the little bit of weather we had,
Yep.
However,
we needed the rain. We needed
and
that
it's cooled
rain.
things off.
Yeah.
And as soon as I get through today, I've got a long day ahead of me.
You're not going to Wake Forest?
Well, I am going
What are you?
out to Galloway Golf Course.
Okay.
To take pictures for the Commission on Missing and Exploited Children's nonprofit
good
their
for
golf
you.
tournament, and so
Okay.
I'm going to take pictures of them. I'm a board member for them, and as soon as I get through with that, about one or 2 o'clock,
are you heading downtown?
I'll be going to the Pyramid, where I think that everybody in the Memphis area, if they're not going to a football game,
Head to the Pyramid.
go out to the Pyramid. It's the monsters on the
Mississippi River Rock
River,
Monsters.
catfish tournament.
Yes, based out of the Pyramid.
Based it, well, they do. Yeah, they do. They register there, and then they go and fish. Lines out at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
They start to weigh in at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
And it's a drive-through weigh-in.
And they'll drive through in the parking lot of the
Through the parking lot. They've got a route that they always take.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you something.
It's
You want to see a spectacle.
come see it.
Come see that, because I got to tell you,
Yeah.
the care that these fishermen take
They do, don't they?
to make sure that these fish stay alive
Yeah.
is pretty amazing. And once the fish are weighed, they go directly into these truck tanks
And they
that the
keep 'em.
TWRA
We'll be there.
has right next to the weigh-in.
Yeah.
And they'll take them back out to the river and put them in. And so this thing starts, I'm going to be there pretty early, but the weigh-in starts at 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
And they're going to be doing all the awards and prizes at 7 o'clock. I encourage everybody to go out there. There's going to be some vendor booths there.
The Pyramid's there, of course.
And of course, the Pyramid.
And the chance to see big fish.
Really.
Well, let me ask you
big
that, because the
catfish.
river, I know we got a lot of rain this past week, but the river is really low.
Super low. It's -6 on the Memphis
But it's
gauge.
been low before, so they'll still
It's low.
find they'll find some holes, won't they?
it's-
These guys know how to find the holes.
Well,
know.
it's traditionally been low this time of the
It
year.
is
every
September.
Year. That's,
yeah.
And so what happens is these guys will find deep flats on the outside bends of the rivers.
Yeah.
Where it's going to be anywhere from 30 to 60 feet deep.
Whew.
And then a
Pull
lot of them, what they'll be doing is a technique called bumping.
Bumping,
Which
yeah.
they'll drift downstream,
Yeah.
and they use their trolling motor to slow them down, and they'll bump about 1.5 to 2.5 miles per hour,
Yeah.
and it's just raising a bait up and down
Yeah.
as they go. That's how those catfish eat. Others will be getting behind wing dams
That's right. I've been
along the river, because typically on the downstream side of those wing dams are deep holes.
And we're talking
And those
about deep,
holes
yeah.
were dug out to build those wing dams.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them will anchor down.
And that's where the big ones will be.
Well, yes
Could
and no.
be. Could be.
The big ones typically are going to be in the current.
In the current.
And
Okay.
then what they do is they lay in holes on the bottom of the river,
Yeah, feeding.
and they feed with the bait coming to them.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the guys that fish in the holes behind the wing dams, they're catching stuff like flatheads.
Mm-hmm.
Flatheads are not that much attuned to the current.
Yeah.
And so you'll see some flatheads.
But you'll see some blues.
Oh, there'll be a lot of blues.
A lot of blues and a chance to, some 40, 50 pounds. I don't know you never know what you might pull out of there.
It's taken at least one over 70 pounds to win big fish every year.
And it's a 2 fish, right?
3 fish.
3 fish. 3 fish.
2 over 34
That's what it
inches.
Is. The Bill Cox
and
rule.
1 under 34 inches is what they can weigh.
And see, you want to see this, folks. This is this afternoon. Drive on down to the Pyramid, the Bass Pro Shop at the Pyramid. See those guys come in, and it's an annual affair. So I know Ron will be down there. A lot of folks will be there, and I'm sure Ron will take some pictures.
We'll have pictures
on LarryRay.com from
and
Ron.
By the way, Larry,
what?
One of our mutual friends will probably show up there.
You think he will?
His name is Bill Dance.
BD.
You ever heard of him?
Yeah, BD.
You ever heard of Bill Dance?
Yeah, he'll still be wearing that hat. I know that. So look for him. But just go down there today, folks. We told the guys we'd give them a plug.
They're going to have food trucks there.
Yeah,
which
vendors.
have always been really good, and vendors. Yep.
Yeah, Ron's going to admit those food trucks and everything. But that's this funny show today. I'll tell you what, we got a real unique subject in the first segment coming up out second segment coming up out of this. I'm not going to tell you about it till you get to it. And our good friend Mike Giles out of Meridian, Mississippi, survived all the high water and the winds roaring through there earlier in the week. He's going to come on and tell about his newest book, The Legends of the Spring, Masters of the Call. And he's got some great stories in here. From our good friend Steve Turpin's got a story in there about turkey hunting. And Mike is that guy that can do the turkey calls. He doesn't need a mouthpiece or anything like that. He can do it right on himself. And then Ron has set up a couple of great guests. David Baynard, of course, has been on this show many times from Driftmaster, Black River Tools. And Ron we're going to talk about some new things that David has going out of Manning, South Carolina. And then here we got the winners. You know, we had a couple of guys on recently talking about the Major League Fishing first ever team series, at General Tire Team Series, and we've got the winners of that thing, the B&W Trailer Hitches Challenge Cup, presented by Toyota. That's a mouthful. And we've got the winners. We got the champs himself. One of them is from Tennessee. He's from 10 Mile, Tennessee.
That's right.
Even though he's going to be heading out of town on this weekend, but he's going to stop and talk with him. That's Matt Becker. And then his partner, a familiar name in bass fishing because his dad has won a few things in his bass fishing. We've got Spencer Shuffield out of Hot Springs. And guess who was second in that thing, Ron? Stephen Browning, another one out of Hot Springs. But they stomped. I'm not saying stomp. That's a bad word. They won by 34 pounds, Brown.
Well, they were strong in that tournament.
Woo, yeah.
And, Larry, what's ironic is, you and I had Dustin. Well, we had Jacob Wheeler on.
Yes,
to
couldn't
talk
get
about
Dustin because Dustin was having some teeth problems.
Right, and then
now we got the
they
winners.
did not make it out of the first round.
No, they did not get out of the first round.
But I'll tell you, that's you look at
I kind of like
feel
it. Yeah,
of anglers, and any of them can win on any day.
Oh yeah, if you looked at that roster, it's a buddy tournament too. It's just kind of unusual.
I'll tell you, I watched it.
Yeah, did you? I didn't get a chance to watch it.
I watched some of it online. And excellent format, entertaining.
Yeah, entertaining. I've heard that.
And they did a good job.
Well, I mean, both of these guys, and I looked it up, Matt and Spencer. They've won over $1 million each.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, these are no slouches, and these guys are really good.
These guys are really good.
Yeah, and
Matt has really been targeted as the up-and-coming star.
Yeah,
he has won a lot of money and a lot of tournaments, and both of them are young anglers.
Young anglers.
Up-and-coming. They're really good.
And we're going to talk to them, and then Ron has come up with a great guest for the last segment because it's that time again. And Ron, it just seems like yesterday that we talked to Tony Forte about the Pan American Black Bass Tournament Championships
they had at Hot Springs.
In Hot Springs,
year.
And now They're in Canada.
They're going into Canada. They put together a pretty strong team, it looks like.
Yeah, I saw the roster.
And so that's really exciting.
Yeah.
And they've got quite a few different teams this year.
Yeah.
I saw where they have a team from China that's there.
Yes, they do. I've got it here.
Of course, Mexico. And
what is it?
Team Canada has really put together a team that's pretty unreal.
They got Gussie on there.
They've got Gussie on there.
Yeah. And Cooper Gallant? Is that it? Is that his
Cooper Gallant.
Gallant is in there. Two Canadians.
And these guys are a BASS elite fisherman. They've got,
sure. Yeah.
You know, and my buddy David Chong's on it.
Yeah. Well, we also got Cowboy in there too.
Well, for us, we've got Cowboy. We got Scott Martin.
And he won it. They won it last year.
Yeah, as a
at Hot Springs, we got Joey.
USA.
Yeah, the USA.
Did win it,
and
yes.
So Scott Martin's the captain. Anyway, it's going to be a fun show. And I anytime I know, I call Ron. I said, Ron, I got 2 spots I got to fill here. I've got things that happened this week, and I got a great report from my cancer doctor on Monday, folks. So
Good.
Praying, come back in 3 months and get a scan in 2 months, and then end up getting stung by. I'm still not sure what I got stung by on Monday afternoon, but it's still hurting. And then yesterday, this was back Friday, I got a thing in the mail, Ron. I've been called to jury duty. I didn't think they'd take anybody that was over 100, you know, but
they don't take you over 70.
Well, I'm 81, and I got called. And
well,
so
we'll let them know, though?
Oh, yeah. I filled out the form, sent it in to them, and told them 80.
You won't be going.
So, anyway, what a week. But Ron Wong has stepped up and filled these 2 gaps. So and we're going to get to the fishing report. Don't worry about that. You people out there, we're going to get that with Ron, because I know some things have kind of changed a little bit. And a couple of subjects I want to talk about on that when I get Ron, when we have a little time. But let's take our first break, and then we're going to a subject that I don't think I ever talked about in 24 years on Outdoors with Larry Ray. And I know Ron can't wait to hear about it. It's a real tree product, folks. It's a real tree product. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray as we have turned the corner on 24 years, Ron Wong, and we're heading to year 25.
Yes, we are.
That's pretty remarkable. Shelby McCall, of course, is our show producer. She keeps everything going on this Saturday on September the 14th. And appreciate Ron Wong of being in with us. We've had some nasty weather early in the week. It's a great morning today. And we've got a subject I don't think we've ever talked about. We talk a lot about Realtree on this. And, of course, you folks know that I'm a Realtree man, a lot of other things. And with Tyler and Bill, Jordan, and all the folks there at the Legends of the Outdoors. And so when Stephanie Mallory comes up and said, this sounds like a subject, I said, I got to get this guy. We got to talk about this product. And we're going to talk about it because we have with us, we got Garrett Payne. He is the Director of Influencer Marketing. I love that title, Garrett, for Dude Products. And we're talking about Dude Wipes. Good Saturday morning, Garrett.
Good morning, and how are y'all doing?
We're doing great to be this early on Saturday morning here in Memphis, Tennessee. And we're talking Dude Wipes. Now, people are going to say, what in the world is Dude Wipes? And now that you guys have made a commitment with our great friends at Realtree, tell us what are we talking about here?
Well, the short answer is it's a butt wipe, but it's a 99% plant-based material, and so you can take it with you.
And but now the camo, talk about how this hookup came about.
Well, the camo pattern we had talked about doing for a while, and it was something that I pitched. I wasn't even out of my interview when I was like, we need to do camo.
Yes.
And a couple years later, we had it come to life. I got a contact over at Realtree, Erin Campbell. She's a wonderful partner, and had us out at SHOT Show and got to know a lot of the guys and decided that was the pattern we were going to go with, the Advantage Classic. For me, it's a good luck pattern. I've shot my biggest deer wearing my granddad's old coat, and it was the morning that A&M and LSU played, and A&M won in 7 overtimes. And so for me, it was a good pattern to go with because it's lucky.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Really enjoyed
Great
them.
story.
That's a great story. So undoubtedly you are an Aggie fan then, right? So.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm a Razorback fan, so we don't have nothing to talk about this week, okay?
And we'll
talk in a couple of
Rebel
weeks.
Fan
yeah,
here.
you got a Rebel fan sitting over, bless his heart. Isn't that something? Yeah, he admits it and everything. But again, we're talking to Garrett Payne of Dude Wipes. He's the director of influencer. I like that marketing. And, of course, Aaron Campbell from business development director at our good friends at Realtree Outdoors said you need to talk about this product, and we are. So tell us a little history of Dude Wipes.
So Dude Wipes got started by some buddies living together in Chicago and decided they saw a need in the market and they were going to fill it. Everybody knows about baby wipes and some people use them, but they're not flushable. So they wanted a bigger flushable wipe, and they were just three dudes in their apartment. So they decided to call it Dude Wipes.
Well,
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a pretty.
Garrett, a lot of people think it's only used for one thing, but really, that's a nice wipe to have, a wet wipe to have in your car, boat, anywhere to wipe your hands or do anything, right?
Oh, man, you can get catfish slime off with them.
That's
you can
it.
I've taken face paint off with them.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it really comes into play when you're, especially on that first weekend of deer season where the time zone flips and you mess up your time and get into the blind.
Yeah.
So you take your coffee with you and you didn't wake up early enough to get that nice movement in the morning, and you get out in the blind, and
exactly.
As soon as you get situated, it's time to go. And most people don't take a whole lot of toilet paper with them, so it's a great leaf alternative.
And also, it is scent free, right? I mean,
so we have some that have scents, but our camo one is fragrance free.
Hear that, folks?
That's right.
That's a lot of folks. I mean, I'm a deer hunter, an ancient deer hunter it might be, and I'm all excited every time. This has hit me close to home because you've delicately explained this, Garrett. I was really wondering how he does this, but undoubtedly you've told this story before and know how to tell it, because the product itself sells itself. Now we got to ask you about Realtree. Is such an awesome brand. So how's that receptive been with you and Realtree?
Oh, it's been great. All the Dude Wipes customers, fans love it. It's such a classic pattern, and really hitting that nostalgia button with a lot of people, because, like I said, the pattern itself, I've got a ton of clothes in it, and some of them were my granddad's. And it's a really nice nod, and then it's hard to beat the joke with the oak leaves on the packaging.
Oh, yeah.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, it looks a lot better than that orange stuff that somebody sent out one time. It was orange, and I said, no, I don't want this orange carrying it around in the field with me. I know I can wear orange to be safe, but
you just got to be careful. If you drop them, you might lose them.
That's exactly
And,
right.
Garrett, you guys have a program that I'm very proud of your company to have.
Yeah.
Wipe the Troops.
Yes. Yeah.
And, that's very patriotic of you all to do it. Tell our listeners a little bit about that program. It's a great program.
Yeah.
So we send a ton of stuff overseas. I've sent countless pallets over to bases and just making sure everybody's taken care of. And it's really important to take care of our guys overseas. So we make sure to send everything we can.
Well, that's just amazing what you guys have done. So what? How long has the Dude Wipes been in? How many years?
Yeah, how long you guys been around?
Yeah.
Not as long as this show. Only about back to 2011.
Oh, that's a pretty good while. So this is not something that started overnight, because I looked it up. You guys have been in business for over a decade of doing doing what
we had a Shark Tank episode that went pretty well and ended up with Mark Cuban for a little while.
Yes, that's where I thought. Yeah, dealing with Mark Cuban. You going from Mark Cuban to Realtree with Bill Jordan and all the gangs down there. But this the product itself, where is it available? How do people get it?
Yeah.
So the camo product is available on Amazon or TikTok Shop.
Okay.
And next year it should be available in more places. And then we have our other scented wipes.
Yes.
And then our non-camo fragrance-free available at Walmart, Target, pretty much anywhere you shop.
Okay, and the packaging was so important on this. To see that Realtree brand, when you look at it, and go online, folks. So what's that website?
The dudewipes.com.
Dudewipes.com. Go online and look this up because it is the classic Advantage, and I guess that's what you wanted because that's when you see that, that's Realtree, right? So I mean,
oh, yeah.
you wanted that pattern, and undoubtedly you are a deer hunter, and that means a lot to this show. I know in our many years of doing this, but to be a passionate deer hunter is the same thing. So, folks, this is a product that you're going to be able to stick in your backpack, right, Derek? I mean, Garrett?
Oh, yeah. I've got it in all my blind bags for duck hunting, my loadout kit for deer, like anything and everything. You can take it with you.
Well, it's just an amazing product, folks. And we've got this featured on LarryRay.com. You can go to that to find out more information. Garrett, thank you so much for being with us on Outdoors of Larry Ray. And look forward to seeing you and talking to you later down the road. But we got your number now, buddy, okay?
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Garrett. Have a great day. Thank you, Garrett.
Y'all too.
All right, Garrett Payne from Dude Wipes. And I like that title, Ron, Director of Influencer Marketing.
That's really a lot of companies are changing those titles.
Yeah, and he is
to influencer.
Yeah,
because that's what they're trying to do instead of just marketing.
Well,
marketing is kind of a broad.
Well, we're going to get some of these products and maybe some giveaways, and me and Ron are working on some things on that, but go to it and find it. And I wanted to, before we get along, I know we might have cut Garrett a little short, no intention, but I wanted to get this in because we're going to be rocking and rolling on this Saturday morning. And so I said, Ron, on this segment, people have already, I guarantee you they're already waiting. What happened to Ron's fishing report? So I wanted to throw it in there. I'm not throwing it in there, but Ron, that front came through. We had a lot of rain, 3 to 5 inches of rain. Well, what's that going to do to our fishing this weekend? I wanted that real quickly.
Number one, it was a cool rain in the mid-60s, upper 60s.
Yes.
And so that cooled off the surface temperature.
All right.
It had already dropped from the high 80s 2 weeks ago to the last time that I went earlier this week to the low 80s.
Yep.
And so now it should drop into the mid-70s.
And
that's really a trigger for the bait fish to start moving shallow to eat. And as the bait fish move shallow, so does your game fish like bass and crappie.
All right.
And for the bass at Pickwick right now, they're really biting good in the grassy areas from State Island down to the Natchez Trace, or actually Second Creek.
Amazing.
Along the east bank there where you have a lot of grass. Stay out in 8 to 9 feet of water, throw up into the grass with a thunder cricket, chatterbait, or something like that.
Yeah.
Or if it's cloudy, use a buzz bait over the
Yeah.
grass and catch those fish. If you miss them, put you on a weightless Ocho or Cinco 5-inch and a green pumpkin and catch those fish there. Also, as the fish are moving in, they're on the secondary points in the creeks, major creeks like Bear Creek and Yellow Creek and Second Creek and those places.
Yeah.
They're on the secondary points. Their fish are moving in, following the bait fish. A 1.5 or a 2.5 Strike King KVD crankbait in a shad color will work real well. And now they're starting to eat a spinnerbait.
Oh, okay.
Slow rolling a spinnerbait.
Slow rolling, okay.
You don't need to go fast with them.
All right.
Down there on the I-55 lakes, those fish are moving off of the main lake points onto the secondary points also. Much the same baits that you'd use at Pickwick or Kentucky Lake, 1.5 square bill or 2.5 square bill, a pure poison or a thunder cricket or a chatterbait will work well. All in shad colors is going to be your best. And don't forget the topwater bait right now. And for the crappie fishermen,
you better tell us.
They are starting to move up a little bit. You can catch them over deeper water, especially on the I-55 lakes.
Yep.
Fishing over 15 to 20 feet of water. Those fish are going to be about 8 feet deep, anywhere from 5 to 8 feet deep, and using a crankbaits and trolling, or a double minnow rig by Caps and Coleman.
There you go. I mean, it's the best 2-minute fishing report you'll ever get. And listen to it. We got them all these shows on, folks. You can go to LarryRay.com and just click on that link. It says previous shows, and you'll be able to hear Ron Wong's fishing report every time he's in here. It's the best there is. We'll be right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. I'm pretty well up on it today this week. Ron Wong is in here. Of course, this is second Saturday, and Ron is sitting in with me. He gave that great fishing report, and now we're going to talk a little bit about a new book that's come out by one of my favorite guys. We've been friends for a long, long time, and he's one of those guys that when I do my turkey show, I know I can call on Mike Giles. It's just unless something comes up. Mike, I guess you've been on about every one of them, hadn't you? I mean, it seems like
yes,
it.
sir.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And it's
as long as I can remember.
As long as we can remember. That ain't very long though, Mike. So I mean, we have to watch it. But Mike has come up with the book that from the cover will capture your attention. It's called Legends of the Spring, Masters of the Call by Michael O. Giles. And I've always wondered, what does the O stand for, Michael?
O'Neill.
O'Neill. Now, that's a great name. Michael O'Neill Giles. Man, if that doesn't sound like, is that Irish? Is that Irish? Is that?
It might be a little bit of Scotch-Irish or something like that.
I think it is. I'm Scotch. Yeah, I'm Scotch-Irish. And
me too.
Yeah, Ron. Now he's really thrown me for a Wong. That is all wrong. I tell you. But let's talk about this book. You got a bunch of chapters. You have really selected some people that are so well known in the outdoors world, but you've got some in there that I know are close to you. So talk about the development, because and folks, I know I'm looking at it right now, the ice cream cobbler from our good friend Steve Turpin, and I saw Steve the other day, and he's still talking about it. But talk about how long it took you, and how did you come up with these names and things. Talk about maybe the evolution of the book itself.
Well, I came up with the idea originally. We've got so many, we're blessed in Mississippi with so many world-class turkey callers, call makers.
Yeah.
Just world famous. Everybody knows about Mossy Oak, and we have several people with them and Primos. We just have some people that kind of led the modern revolution of turkey hunting and call making. And I was talking to a man at the Unicoi Call Maker show, and he did a podcast with me. And after it was over, that was for the Old Pro Turkey Hunter, I told him about my idea on this book. So he said, well, Mike, and he said, there's only one thing I would say. You might want to use different people from around the country, different regions, and make it more viable.
Yeah.
More interesting. And I took it at heart. And, of course, the majority are from Mississippi, as you said. But I've got Brent Rogers from Ottumwa, Iowa. And Brent's one of the foremost turkey call literature books collectors in the country.
Yeah.
And so I included him and he's got the balloon gobbler.
That's right. Yeah.
And a real unique story. And of course, got Cuz Strickland, Ronnie Strickland from Mossy Oak. I mean, he had a very unique story. And
Tess Jolly, Jim Spencer, I'm looking Mark McPhail, all these guys. And then I looked out here and I look on page 71, and this may be the youngest member of your book group there.
Yes.
Is our good friend from right here in Memphis, John David Santee the second.
That's right.
Out of Germantown, raised in Germantown, and spends most of his time out in the mountains, the Rocky Mountains, and I saw that you had John David on this thing, so
yes.
It's almost a wall of fame, and yet at the same time, some of these folks, they'll say, well, I don't know that guy. Well, Mike knew him. And Mike, they all got stories to tell, right, Mike? I mean,
that's right. And all of these guys are fantastic in their realm or their area. They're very knowledgeable. You know, I will tell you, Mark Prudhomme, he's a 17 or 18 time world.
That's right.
Champion, turkey caller, call maker, South Carolina.
Yeah.
He had influence from some of the old greats as well, and we've got Joe Slayton from California of all places. Another, he's well known in the NWTF world. He's another 17-time national champion in gobbling, owl hooting. We've got Mike Cook. He's a guy that's been good at everything he's ever done. He didn't have a father.
Yeah.
He was raised here in Meridian, Mississippi. He was outstanding ball player, coach, scratch golfer. I mean, he was shooting below his age, around 80 years old.
And you closed it out with Mike, which
that's right.
How difficult was it to line these babies up for you, Mike? And Mike, let's don't forget that Mike's a pretty good guy himself. He could include himself in this book because Mike's one of those guys. Give me a demonstration, Mike, that we always ask you for. You don't have a call around you right now. Give me some music, Mike.
Good. Yeah.
Okay, well, there you go. Look at that. First time I met Harold Knight, he pulled out a Johnson grass and made a call out of it. Mike don't even need the Johnson grass, but to put this together, this was a labor of love, the way I understand it, Mike.
Yes, and I've got two men in there that they were really good at everything they do, and we have one man, James Bubba Bryant from Bay Springs, Mississippi. He's a long-time turkey hunter. He's worked with the NWTF for many years. He's a forester. He's up in his 80s now, but he's an excellent poet.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've got two poems on the wild turkey.
I'm going to mention that because we're the only radio show that I know. We got our own poet laureate, part of Outdoors with Larry Ray, and that's my good friend Charlie Covington. You can go to LarryRay.com and read all of Charlie's poems. And Charlie, he's wanting to see this book because I told him it's probably the first book I've ever seen. All the stories are great, but there's poetry in it. Was that part of it? I mean, did you want to include James doing this poem?
I wanted him. He was so good, and he always writes and sends me poems.
Yeah, that's
Christmas,
what Charlie does.
Easter, turkey. He really thinks it. Mike Cook. I couldn't figure out what to include on Mike, but he had a great poem, and I thought that would be a good way to end it.
Yes, The majestic gobbler.
That's right.
Yeah. From May 10th of 1989. And again, we're talking to Mike Giles out of Meridian, Mississippi. You folks know him. He's a pro staffer for Bass Pro, a good friend of ours that speaks all over the place, does demonstration, not only a turkey hunter, but an outdoorsman. And he loves the Lord and an outstanding Christian young man. But if you're looking for somebody you want to come speak at your place, look up Mike Giles. And we're going to give you information about Mike. But the synopsis of this thing, the reception, I've read some reviews, Mike. You're getting some strong reception on it, buddy.
Yes, sir. I've been real excited about it. And I'm going to tell you, the gist of the book was a short bio of each person.
Yeah.
That people know they've probably not heard of some of these people.
Yeah.
But we're talking about a unique turkey hunting story or a unique turkey they hunted, and there's two or three real, I'm just telling you, heartfelt stories. One of them is from Tess Randall Jolly.
Yes, it is.
Taking a 10-year-old cancer patient.
Yeah, that hit
Ashley,
me. That hit me hard.
Her, on her dream hunt, and she was successful. And I would be kind of a little remiss about not mentioning Med Palmer.
Mm-hmm.
Med Palmer is the Copiah County Wildlife Management Area manager.
Yeah.
And that's in Copiah, in central Mississippi. And Med had something happen. And I had not met him before I started this book. And
okay.
I called up a gobbler for my nephew last week of the season. On the last day, I posted a picture. I put final day gobbler, last hunt.
Yeah.
And Ned, he sent me a text that I want to tell you about Go's last hunt.
Oh, my. Yeah.
And so by then I'd heard his name and I knew a little bit about him. And one other thing, he called up a gobbler for Colonel Tom Kelly when he was about 90 years old.
Wow.
Colonel Tom came down here to hunt in Mississippi with Mossy Oak and Fox Hayes.
The great Tom Kelly, yeah.
Yes, and so he's very well connected, but he had something happen, him and his son, and I told him, I said, hey, I'm doing a book. If you'd like to tell me about the story, if it's good, I'll put it in there, and I could not leave it out.
Yeah.
And it just lets you know how precious life is, and what you do every day means something. And Gunner Palmer and Med Palmer both, they have helped many people, disabled, youth, adults, wounded warriors. They carried them. Over 500 gobblers have been killed with that father and son duo.
Wow. Yeah, and when I saw this, and I've read most of this, you can go to 3 or 4 of them and come back and read them. I made it almost a devotion, Mike. I hate to tell you that, but I have.
Yes.
As far as that, but read that one, buddy, because that one about Gunner, if that don't tug your heart's untuggable. I mean,
absolutely.
Well, we got a couple of minutes here, so tell our listeners how they can get this book, Mike. Because this will make a great present. Whatever it might be.
Christmas present.
Christmas present or whatever right now. Tell them,
birthday
Mike.
present, yeah.
Tell them, Mike.
They can contact Michael O. Giles on Facebook or Messenger. I'm in Meridian, Mississippi. They can email me at MikeGiles18 at Comcast.net. That's MikeGiles.
Okay.
Number 18 at Comcast.net.
And we'll have.
They can call my phone number, 601-917-3898, 601-917-3898. Text me, call me. I can get you the book. I send them all out. We're only having 500 signed.
Oh, folks, you hear that? You're going to hold
only 500.
Only 500, and we'll have this posted on LarryRay.com.
Good.
For that to get them to you. Mike, thank you, buddy. I knew it'd be a great segment. Appreciate your patience and everything, and we'll talk later on down the road, too, buddy. You have a great, safe weekend, okay, man? Look forward to seeing you.
Let's go hunting.
Let's do it, buddy. Thank you, Mike. All right. Let's take a break. Come right back, and we're rolling now. And it's time to talk Driftmaster and Black Tool. We'll be right back. Ron Wong, get ready. Get your mouth
I'm
ready.
ready.
He's
I'm
ready.
always ready.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, talking outdoors every Saturday morning. The good folks in Memphis here from 9 to 10:30 on AM 790, 92.9 HD-FM, and all you folks out in Brownsville on 1520 AM, 95.3 FM. Of course, News Talk 101.5. In Jackson, and I know a lot of you folks, this is opening day for the wood duck and
I love it.
Yeah, for the wood duck and teal up at Reelfoot, and you need to check these things out. Starts today through the 18th, and the regular teal season September 19th through 22nd. And I know we got squirrel season going on. We got the bow season, the dove season, we've got the archery season coming up. But anyway, good Saturday morning to you wood ducking folks up at Reelfoot, because that's kind of a special place for everybody. All right, we got another guest on the line, and once again, Ron Wong has hit a home run. Well, I guess the last one was a triple. This is a homer. I don't mean that. But, Ron, why don't you introduce this next guest, because he's been on Outdoors with Larry Ray many times over these many years.
Yes, he has, Larry, and good morning again, everybody. Hey, our next guest is from the Metropolis.
Now watch it now.
Manning, Louis, South Carolina.
Yes.
He is the owner of Black River Tools.
Yep.
And better known as Driftmaster's Rod Holders.
Mr. Driftmaster.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And that's our friend David Baynard. Good morning, David.
Good morning, guys. It's good to hear from you, and I appreciate that. And metropolis is a big word. It must be Latin for mosquito infested.
I didn't say it, David. I know where Manning is. I know where it is. You know,
on the shores of Santee Cooper.
Yes, it is on the shores. At least it's not in Santee Cooper like something used to be probably a long time ago. But David, product. A lot of you folks out here are familiar with Black River Tools. I know we've given away products as prizes over the many years. Dave, how long y'all been in business now, David?
It's coming in on late 70s, so without telling any of our ages, it's been a long time.
It's been a long time. If anybody has seen the evolution of the industry you have, and with Driftmaster and things like that, and I know every time I look up, you're trying to improve things. You've even got a deal right now where something you'll even fix it. How many?
You know, some of those.
How many products will say, "I'll fix it. Just send it to me."
Yeah.
I mean, David, that's a cool.
Well,
tell us that.
Yeah, y'all don't know how many times I've been at a show or a fishing tournament or something and see an old friend and say, "You need any rod holders?" And they say, "No, I'm still using the ones your daddy gave me 30 years ago."
yeah.
So they last forever. I'm not sure that makes me a good businessman, but it is what it is. But yeah, we've refurbished rod holders over the years per request if somebody calls and asks us. But I decided to start offering it to our customers as a service. So for half the price of a rod holder, they send it to us and we strip the old rubber off and we clean it up with a wire wheel and redip it and they get a rod holder. It looks just about brand new.
Well, it's about like me. I've been playing golf forever, over 50,000 times, I guess. I've never made a hole in one, but I know those grips on my golf clubs need replacing, and I get them done. And I never thought about that. Ron, I mean, this is a great idea.
Yeah, no, especially. It prevents your equipment from getting damaged.
It takes your equipment. We use black as the color for two reasons. One, it matches any boat, but two, black is the most UV resistant of any color.
Yeah.
And it'll last longer, but it's still rubber, and rubber's rubber, and it's not going to last forever. So
that's right.
We just want to offer a way for customers to refurbish their rod holders without having to buy new ones.
You know, David, you guys are constantly looking for ways to do things different, come up with new things, but you've come up with a new rod holder, patent pending, that I was like, when I first saw it, I go, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Tell our listeners about this new rod holder that Driftmaster has out.
It started, I was watching a striper fishing show, and they got a pretty good fish on, and they couldn't get the rod out of the holder. They had it it was in one of those tube holders. I don't know what the official name is. Some people call them rocket launchers, some people call them flush holders, but it's the tube holders that come on many boats standard. And these people had a big rockfish hooked up, and they couldn't get the rod out of the holder. It was like they were wrestling a bear. It binds up, and that just got me thinking. There's got to be a better way, because one of the things about a Driftmaster rod holder, and it's a simple thing, but it's one of the most important parts of our product line, is that when you need to set the hook, you just grab the rod and pull back towards you in a natural hook setting motion, and all of a sudden the rod's in your hand. You don't have to. There's no extra motion needed to get a rod out of our holder.
You see,
I'm looking at
those kind of rod holders, David, because of the way they're built. They could put a lot of leverage on there where you can't get your rod out. So you've got to have
you're pushing away. You're pushing away from you too. It's a very non-athletic position. You could even hurt your back. But another point is the rod angle. When your rod's angled up that high, basically all you can do is troll pretty fast. You can't downline with it, and so that you can't fish in the water column. You either got to be trolling, or basically that's it. But we've made a rod holder that'll fit into a flush holder. There's nothing to mount. Just slips right in. Mm-hmm. It holds the rod at a very productive angle, maybe 10 to 15 degrees, and it's adjustable left and right. So even though those rod holders always point toward the back of the boat, you can fish out of the side of the boat.
Right.
If you want, you can adjust. You can turn your rod, but it allows a more productive angle of your rod for fishing in the water column, and it allows you to get the rod out of the holder when you need to. And we made it out of all stainless steel, so it's because we figure this is going to have a pretty big hit in the saltwater market.
Yeah.
And I wanted it strong. I got a friend of mine that said he asked me to make him one of these. He said, I want it strong enough so when we hook a grouper, my wife and my kid can fight it and leave the rod in the holder if they want to, because they're not strong enough.
Yeah.
So it's strong enough to leave the rod in the holder, but if you want the rod in your hands, you get it out real quick and easy.
All right, how much did that fish weigh that's on your Facebook page with that guy holding up that
grouper?
That grouper. How much did that baby weigh? Huh?
I'd say 40. He didn't tell me, but
it looks 40 pounds at least. And folks, I know when you think about that, you think about those old cup things that you used to stick the rod in.
Yeah.
And you know how hard they were to even get in, much less get out.
And you know, David, that rod holder will also work really well on center console boats.
Yeah.
For those that are catfishing,
or
even trolling for crappie or striper fishing too, right?
Yeah, in any boat that came with standard stock, rocket launcher type holders, and they want to turn that into an effective fishing rod holder without having to mount anything. That's for whatever species of fish you're after.
Well, they ought to have them on their boats this weekend when the Mississippi River monsters are down there, because I never thought about calling those things. What'd you call them? Rocket? What was that again?
Rocket launchers.
Rocket launchers is kind of that's one of the names for them. But anyway, then we named our new rod holder the Trophy.
That's what I was going to ask you. What's the name of it? Because you're going to be able to catch some big fish that maybe you're not able to, and not. You know, I swear, I wished I'd have had this at Pickwick many years ago when that 27-pound striper I caught gave me my hernia. I mean, I can still look down and see those stitches that I had back in the old days. Now they just do it in a hurry. But when I landed that big baby, again, we're talking to our good friend David Baynard of Driftmaster Black River Tools out of Manning, South Carolina, the metropolis, as Ron is now giving it, M&M, so to speak. But and David, like you said, you guys have been in it a long time. Your dad, this has been a family affair, hasn't it?
Yes, sir, it has. We started off with a vise and a torch when I was in the 8th grade.
There you go.
I'd have to stand there with the torch and run the vise, and Daddy would do the bending, and he'd place the rod holders and all. And there's nothing nobody's asked us not to do on a boat. I had an email this week. Somebody wanted me to mount a flagpole on their boat to one of our rod holder bases.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I've been asked to do a lot, but I don't know.
That's really awesome.
That's
the work that you guys do.
Yeah.
The quality of the work. You know, your customer service is second to none.
It is. Yeah.
And I have to tell you, and you know, for all you folks out there on Drift that's looking for Driftmaster products, you go out to Bass Pro Shop. They have it.
Yeah.
They go online.
Yeah.
Of course, our friends at Grizzly Jigs has a great selection. Of Driftmaster, and you guys are in a lot of different stores too, aren't you?
Yeah, and we are. We've been doing this a long time. We have I worked on our website a little bit later this week and cleaned it up a little bit, so you can get to us any way you want.
Yeah.
Call us. I love talking to our customers.
You do.
And
the flagpole.
My problem is I can't say no. I know that flagpole guy. I told the flagpole guy, well, I don't know if I don't want to make flagpoles, you know. But I'm laying in bed at 2:00 in the morning, staring at the ceiling. How can I put a flagpole on this guy's boat? I can't help it.
Well, David,
David, if somebody wants more
them.
information about your wonderful products, the new products and everything else, where do they go?
Driftmaster.com. Check it out. And I got a bank holder, too, I introduced this year. We've made a bank holder for years, and I never really put it on the site.
Have you really?
Wow. How cool.
Yeah, it'd be great below the dam and things, some of those things.
Well, it's not your everyday bank holder. It's a Driftmaster bank holder.
That's okay.
It's strong. It's solid stainless. I made it for fresh or salt water.
Okay.
It's got two legs that go into the ground so it won't twist if you're fishing in current, and it's got a stabilizer between the two legs that acts as a stirrup, so you can use your foot to push it into the ground. You won't pull your back out trying to get it in the ground. But
I'm telling you,
anyway,
we got a guy on the line thinking of things at 2 a.m. I mean, I don't know about that,
yeah.
David. Hey, buddy, thank you again for being on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Long-time friendship, buddy, and everything. Wish you a great weekend, and we'll try to stay better in touch with you because I know wherever I go, I see one of your products. Ron's probably got 6 in his truck out there. I don't know. But,
and on my boat.
Yeah. Well, thank you, David.
Well, I appreciate you guys, too. Driftmaster.com if anybody needs me, and you guys have a blessed day.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Okay, let's take a break on the Outdoors with Larry. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. 2 weeks ago, we turned the corner on 24 years on the air, and we're heading for 25 this year. Every Saturday morning right here on AM 790, 92.9 HD from 9 to 10:30. And, of course, this being second Saturday, this is the regular time for my brother by another mother, my Ron Wong over there, Ron. And these next two guests, they should be happy folks, shouldn't they? I mean,
not only are they happy, but they are some great fishermen.
Yes, yeah.
And, we have followed them over the years, and they have done such a great job fishing on the MLF circuit, both on the Bass Pro Tour.
Yes, yeah.
And I think both of these guys started out in the Toyota series and came up through the ranks, and they are top-notch fishermen. And they made a statement in fishing the first ever team series.
Yes.
General Tire Team Series B&W Trailer Hitches Challenge Cup, presented by Toyota.
How did you say that without taking a breath? I'm just wondering about that. I mean,
I barely got it out.
That's a long title, but we're happy on Outdoors with Larry Ray. We got them both on the line. This verifies that they did do it because we didn't want to do just one of them here. Is Matt Becker. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Glad
you guys reaching out.
And well, I think we can tell the difference in voices, Matt. Okay, I know you live in 10 Mile, Tennessee, but I don't think you're from around there. Okay, so I mean,
no.
Huh? What?
I'm a transplant. I'm a transplant to Tennessee. So I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area. So I just recently moved a few years ago, but I'm getting used to it, and I feel like my language is changing a little bit.
Oh, it is. Because we got Maddie's on the road going to a wedding in Pennsylvania. But we know the other guys in God's country, right, Ron Wong?
Where's that at?
Oh, that's Arkansas.
Must be Arkansas.
It's Arkansas. Hot Springs, one of my favorite places. Spencer Shuffield's on the line with us too. Good morning, Spencer.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
We're doing good. Let's talk about this because you guys.
Well, first of all, congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations
for winning the first ever.
Yeah, I just looked at that and I said, not only did they win this, Ron, but they blew away the field.
I want to tell you, the fishermen that they went up against, all the other teams, are so good. I mean, you're talking about the top professional fishermen in the industry.
Yeah, and you guys came away with the championship. Not only that, but 64 bass, totaling 113 pounds, and we don't want to forget that 5 ounces, for a 34-pound, 10-ounce win ahead of, golly, this is something, ahead of the Team USA Air Force in Shuffield. I looked at this, Spencer, and I saw that the guy that finished second was somebody else from Hot Springs, right? I mean,
it was.
Yeah,
it was.
Poor old Stephen Brown.
Stephen Brown.
Yeah, poor old Stephen Brown, and he's never won anything. Yes, he has. So, I mean, let's talk to you, Matt, a little bit about you and Spencer and the teamwork that goes into this thing, Matt.
So, are you familiar with the format at all?
Oh, yeah.
So basically, we had a draft a couple months ago to determine who we wanted to partner up with for this event, and I knew, right off the bat, we room with Spencer all year long. We're probably best buds on tour, so it's like I wanted someone, on my team that's a heck of a good fisherman that you get along with, you can have fun in the boat, and that's how Spencer and I ended up together. So, we were excited heading into it, but then once we found out it was in Erie, Pennsylvania, a place that I grew up fishing, we were even more excited. We knew that heading into it that we were probably going to have a good chance at this thing, so we knew we just needed to fish good together, fish clean, make good decisions, and hopefully come away with the title. But that's exactly the way it went down.
And Matt, you were one of the only fishermen in that in this tournament that had any knowledge or clue about where you're fishing.
Yeah.
Also, right?
That does put some pressure on a little bit, though. I mean,
it did. There was definitely some pressure to perform. I didn't want to go there and get caught up running stuff that I fished in the past and not catch them. So there was definitely a little added pressure, and it definitely made me focus a little bit harder and really try to do well in this event, just because I had so many friends and family from the area, and everybody around there was rooting for us and pulling for us. So we had a lot of pressure on us to perform there for sure.
And Spencer, what's it like fishing in the boat with Matt?
Oh, it was a blast. We'd only spent just a few days together ever in a boat together. I mean, we stay so busy, even though we traveled the last 3 years together. Mm-hmm. We usually, when we do have an off day and we can fish, our better halves come with us too. So we usually spend that day with them instead of going fishing. But we the couple times we have fished together, I mean, I was excited for the format. I was excited for the tournament because I knew that we were going to fish very well together, and it definitely didn't disappoint. We were jiving well together, and it just it fell in place. And like I said, I can't wait for the next one. I'm really excited for it.
What about this format, Matt? Tell our listeners exactly the format. We can explain it, but coming from you, because this is a thing, like we said, you could get drop out in the first round, but to make it to what you did. So talk about the format and how it suited you guys.
The format's definitely a little different than what we typically fish on the Bass Pro Tour. First up, we're not in our boats, so we're in league boats.
That's right.
Which, that kind of throws a wrench into it as far as equipment and electronics and stuff you're used to. But as far as the actual tournament goes in, we don't know the body of water we're fishing until the morning of.
Yes.
We literally get in the truck and they drive us to the boat ramp and we go fish wherever they took us that day. And then as far as, the different rounds, there was 12 teams that showed up to Erie, Pennsylvania, and there was 3 qualifying days, so 4 teams would fish each day, and the top 2 would move on, and the top 2 were sent home. They were eliminated, okay? And then out of those 2, those 6 teams that moved on, there was 2 knockout rounds of 2 groups of 3 that fished, and you had to finish in the top 2 again. If you were in third in that knockout round, you were sent home as well. And that's how we narrowed it down to the final 4 for the championship round. And it was a one-day shootout. You go out there with your buddy.
Shootout. Yeah. It was great TV.
It was excellent. It was great watching it.
Yeah. Tell us about that, Spencer, because it was great TV, guys. You guys did a great job for us entertainment. I wanted to ask you one thing about that. On the final day, the pressure of doing in that final day, how did y'all prepare for that?
Well, I mean, we didn't have a clue where we were going to go.
That's right.
Bay.
Yeah.
We fished Presque Isle Bay, our first qualifying round, and the knockout round we were on Lake Chautauqua in New York. And so we didn't have a clue where they were going to take us on that third day. Matt being from the area knew that there was a possibility of a couple other lakes in the area, but he wasn't just real familiar with them. I mean, he anywhere we went, we were going to have a good idea of what to do, because I felt like most of them lakes around there probably fished a lot alike. They were full of grass and stuff. But when we rode up to the ramp on championship morning and realized we were back at Presque Isle Bay, we assumed we were probably going to be going out into the lake.
Oh, okay.
We'd already fished Presque Isle Bay once before.
Yeah.
And then they gave us the map and said, we're back at Presque Isle Bay. This is where you're going to be fishing, same place y'all fished your qualifying round. We were really excited because, we had almost 90 pounds that day.
and that we fished there our first time.
Yeah.
And we felt like we barely scratched the surface. I mean, Matt was like, knew he had a ton more places we could go and catch them probably.
Right.
And we mixed in some stuff we had fished our previous time there, and man, it was just a great day. I felt like we were very prepared when they said lines in that morning. We were confident. We had a good idea of exactly what we needed to do and the weight we needed to catch. And Stephen Browning and Anthony Gagliardi were the two that had beat us there.
Yes, I know it. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And so we knew that was probably going to be the team we were going to have to beat in the championship round. And so we fished with a lot of intensity, and they kept it interesting there until halfway through the second period.
Yes.
You know, in these team-style tournaments, what is a tip that you can give to all of the other fishermen, whether they're fishing a BFL or a Toyota Series tournament or any club tournaments where, it's a team like that.
Yeah.
And what is that one tip that each of you guys could give to that co-angler or fishing together?
This is a buddy tournament. Yeah. What about it, man?
Yeah.
So I would say you always want to be fishing together, but throw in, a different technique if you can. So, for instance,
right.
Spencer and I worked really well together where if we were fishing down a grass line, I would focus my time flipping it with a tube or a cross-style bait, and he was more throwing up into the grass with like a chatterbait or a topwater or something like that. That way you're fishing multiple places in the same area and catching fish that the other guy wouldn't even catch or he isn't even fishing for. So,
right.
You can cover a lot more different water in the same area, and, you're catching more fish for the team that one guy wouldn't have caught,
That's
true.
True.
If he was just by himself. So, varying your techniques like that, that's a great tip, for all team tournaments to have one guy doing something a little bit different than the other guy. That way you can pick off those fish that, maybe set up just a little bit different than the one guy is targeting.
How about you, Spencer? We only got a couple of minutes. What about that from you?
Yeah, I mean, that's, I would have to echo that. I mean, he hit the nail on the head pretty much always. I started out fishing co-angler, so I had to fish behind somebody a lot.
Yeah.
And it's very, very important to make sure you're always doing something a little different, whether you're throwing further in towards the bank or further out behind the boat.
Yeah,
good tip.
Just making sure you're covering either a different water column or a different area of the point or flat that you have or break that you happen to be going down. That was the main thing for me. I didn't want to constantly be putting my bait right in behind his where they've already got to look at it. So I wanted to try and find a different group of fish, show my bait to fish that were not seeing a bait until they saw mine. Well, and we did. We just did that really well together and helped us get the win for sure.
Well, congratulations, guy. I know there's another coming up in November. Is that right? I mean, is that?
That's right.
Yeah, November 17th through the 22nd.
Can't wait.
Yeah, the General Tire Team Series at where's that going to be at? At the Summit Cup. That's the Summit Cup. Yeah, well, I do know one thing. What? What you going to say, Matt?
We don't know the location of it yet. We don't know where the host city will be until
I love that.
30 days
Yep.
prior.
You do know that's the way bass fishing started. We used to get on a plane and fly you to where, I guess, maybe your dad told you about it, Spencer. I don't know, but in the old days, Ray Scott would just put you on a plane and you didn't know where you're going. But I do know one thing, guys. Before we let you guys go, I do know that if anybody wants to cook, it's going to be Matt. Okay, I understand he is the chef in the group. Okay, Matt, I know that. So we're expecting down the road Chef Matt someplace out there. All right, Matt.
Come on. Let's do it.
Do it, buddy.
Hey, I gotta say, Spencer knows how to cook some fish, so he'll fry you up some crappie anytime. He'll.
Now I'm hungry. Now Wong is hungry now, guys. You've messed up the day for us both and everything. Hey, guys.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And we'll talk to you down the road.
Hey, we may talk to you in November, okay? How about that? We may get
you.
What? We want to make sure we might get you in November. Is that okay? So
Let's do it.
Let's do it, buddy.
All right.
Y'all have a great weekend. Thank you, buddies. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
See y'all.
All right. Let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. And what do we call this show, Ron? The what?
The fastest 90 minutes in outdoor radio.
Oh, we got that, man.
And
it's hard to believe, isn't it?
You,
We just sat down, didn't we?
It's amazing that we're already into our
final
segment of this show.
Yeah, not the whole show.
Not the show. Yeah,
no, we said that before, and people got nervous about it. But
right.
Well, we rolled along, and Ron again. Thank you, Ron, buddy, for being here. Also helping with some guests. And this next guest has been on Outdoors with Larry Ray. What a perfect timing to get this guy on, because in a couple of weeks we're going to be talking about what's going on in Canada. And I'm not talking about golf or anything like that. We're talking about bass fishing.
Oh yeah, and so, we're going to have somebody on after that.
Oh, we better. So
yeah.
why don't you introduce this next guest for us on Outdoors with Larry Ray?
Yeah, thank you, Larry. And our next guest is the president of USAngling.org, which is an organization that helps get teams together to fish against other teams in the world. Whether it's bass fishing, fly fishing, carp fishing.
Yep.
And of course they are the largest proponent to try to make bass fishing an Olympic sport. And who else better to do it than the man leading this organization, Tony Forte. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here. Thanks for letting us be on again, and I'm excited to talk about what we're going to be doing.
And you're getting ready for the 5th annual Pan American Black Bass Championships and the concurrent Challenge Cup on the St. John River, based out of New Brunswick, Canada, September 25th through the 29th. And team captain Scott Martin, you got quite a team there, don't you, Tony?
Yeah, absolutely. We're really excited. You know, we've got Scott's been, one of the guys that from the beginning of this that understood what it would do, what it would be like if fishing became an Olympic sport, and we're changing the language from if to when now.
Yes.
And so when it happens, it'll be big for everybody. But yeah, we're ready for a showdown in Canada. Last time we had a Pan Am there, we lost, and
it was close. It was close.
But it wasn't no gold medal.
Inside.
Yeah.
Inside of 1 ounce.
That's
nine teams each way, 1 ounce. So it just tells you how competitive it gets.
Well,
but not this year.
Not this year, Tony. Not this year. With the team you got together, and I'm just looking at this lineup that you put together. What a team, and not only the team itself, but the other the host Canadians in there, and they got a pretty good team too. I mean, so the competition is roll. We're ready to roll with this.
Yeah. So, having Jacob Wheeler on your team is not necessarily a bad thing.
No.
So we feel pretty good about him, and we've surrounded it with some other really quality smallmouth anglers, and that's kind of interesting because, we're not going up to fish for Florida bass.
No.
We're going after bronzebacks. So we're trying to put together a team that can go up there and beat them on their home turf. And
when I look at some of the guys there, Trey McKinney and Joey C. Fuentes,
yes, our cowboy
together,
man. Yeah.
They're known to be able to catch smallmouth bass, and all of those guys, Justin Hamer, and Jacob Wheeler, they're going to be good everywhere. I think that you got a winning team put together, and of course, your highest finishing female team.
Yes,
from the ICAST Cup in this year in
Orlando.
Orlando are on the team also, and they are very, very good fishermen.
That's a great combination. Rhonda Pitts and Emily Freeman.
That's right.
Yeah. So talk about the team itself there, Tony.
Yeah. So anytime you're putting together a team that's going to represent your country, it's a pretty big, it's a big deal. It's something that you want to give a lot of thought, and we want people with high character. You want excellent anglers. And in our case, we also want to see some female anglers there represented.
Right.
And so MLF has been really, really good to us with this ICAST Cup event they put together. And, and so we're hoping those girls, those women go up there and kick everybody's butt. That'd be ideal.
Absolutely.
But we're also really excited that Bob Azumi was another pioneer that understood the importance of international angling.
Yeah, he sure was.
To see him, to see a guy like he's one of the best people. I mean, he's a great fisherman, but great person. And then to have Gustafson and Cooper Gallant on Canada's team, they know that they've got to bring. You got to bring some good folks, and so it won't be long until the Johnston brothers are in there, and we're going to have some battles for time to come. It's going to be a lot of fun for fans.
I know there's been some smack talking going on between myself and David Chong too.
Oh boy, yeah.
Ron can talk smack. I know that. So
yeah. But Dave's a special guy too.
He's special.
It's a really cool deal. You got. I believe we have South Africa's even coming over. They wanted to be part of it. So it's not meant to confuse you. It is a Pan Am, but we do allow other nations who just can't stand it. They want to come fish these events. So we call it this Challenge Cup. And so it's kind of two concurrent events. And, there's also a couple of First Nation teams there too.
Wow,
so I saw that on the list.
And China's coming with a team. Wow.
Dominican Republic, Colombia, Costa Rica, Puerto Rico, Mexico, and I can imagine that's beautiful country up there, folks. I mean, September 25th and 29th, the colors will be coming out too, I'm sure.
The fall colors will be there.
The fall colors, and you guys. But the most impressive color we want is red, white, and blue, Tony.
Yeah.
Okay?
Now, tell our listeners.
And gold.
Gold.
Yeah. Gold. We need
gold.
Not gold.
We want gold. Yeah.
And tell our listeners a little bit about the format of the tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, so this is, it's pairs, right? Okay. So everybody's paired up in boats. And then, the way it works is that I believe it is your top 4 pairs per day are the ones that score. So, we have 6 teams going. So, we don't want to, but we'll have to get rid of 2 of those, and it'll be the top 4 there.
Okay.
And that'll be across the board for all the nations.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's total weight. 5 fish. It's a 5 fish. It's not a 10 fish limit. It's a 5 fish for each pair.
All right.
And it's the way I understand it. It's just big, beautiful smallies, and the setting is just spectacular. So they're trying to. New Brunswick is really kind of trying to show that fishery off.
Right.
The natural beauty that's there and the fishing, and we're excited. We want to go there.
Now, Tony, if somebody wants to, is there a way to follow along on the tournament?
Good question.
Whether it's the weigh-in?
Yeah. How are we going to keep up with this?
Yeah, so the simplest way is just to go to CanadaBass.org, I believe it is, or Facebook, one of the two. Canada Bass. You Google Canada Bass.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and they're going to have live feed. They're going to have live scoring. All those different types of things.
Amazing.
So Canada's really. Canada's going to have. I forget what they said. $6,000 worth of lobsters on the first day to get this thing kicked off.
I'll be there.
Now we're talking. Now we're talking.
Now we're talking. Does Cowboy know that yet? I mean, he's going to be eating lobster?
Yeah. Well, I think that, we've probably got shellfish allergies on my team, is my guess. They're trying to pull something on us. But yeah, no, it's they are really thrilled about it, and I think that they're prepping themselves for hosting a World Championships.
There you go.
Someday, like we did on Lake Murray.
Yes.
Yeah.
And don't forget, for fans, that 2026 we're going to be in Hot Springs.
Okay,
hosting the Worlds again.
Okay.
Last time we had 25 countries show up. We plan on that or more.
Is that 2026?
We're looking. we're looking at doing the indoor weigh-in and the whole spiel. So we're going to make it something spectacular.
So that's 20.
You guys are going to be in the front row.
Oh, right. That's 2026, right?
Now, what about 2025?
That's South Africa.
South Africa.
Okay. Well, look, I'm going to stick around to 2026, Lord willing. Okay, Tony?
All right. There you go.
Well, I'm going to be there, Lord willing.
I don't need no lobster. Just let's get me to Hot Springs in God's country, okay?
Yeah,
God willing, I'm going to be there.
Me and Ron will be there. We may be the ancient ones, but we'll be there. But, Tony, thank you, buddy, for being with us on short notice. And we do want to keep up with this, folks. As he said, just Google Canada Bass. You'll be able to. We'll have all this on Outdoors of Larry Ray on the website at larryray.com. And then, Tony, we want to talk to the champs after y'all win the gold, too, later on after that. All right, buddy? All right.
Go USA.
Right,
there you go, Tony. Have a great weekend, buddy. Appreciate you being on the show. All right?
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Tony Forte, El Presidente of the U.S. Angling. Just Google that. Yeah,
and that's a great organization.
A lot of things coming out of that. We're going to get, and I real quickly.
Yeah.
We want bass fishing in the Olympics. If they're going to have some of those other sports,
and Canada is one of the big proponents of that also.
Well, I would figured it would be if they're going to host this.
Mexico.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of big movement, and now it's starting to get big there in Europe also.
Well, Mark, I tell you what a great day. Ron, thank you, buddy, for being here.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Always fun. He'll be back in a couple of weeks with BW Bonus Wong, and we'll have him on. And next week's show, we're going to be talking, hopefully get to Frank Barton, talking about the Master Nationals up in Paducah, if they didn't get flooded out this week. But great deal. Thank you, Shelby McCall, for taking care of us. And this is Larry Ray reminding you I do every week. It doesn't cost an extra cent to be a good sport. What else, Ron?
God bless the USA.